Snipers, you have to see what's happening to the Bitcoin price this Friday as we are one roadblock away from the previous all-time high of 64,855. The question is, are we seeing this rally as people are buying the hype of the Bitcoin ETF set to be approved on October 18th to then sell the news? Or is this truly going to be a breakout to new all-time highs and for Bitcoin to re-enter price discovery? Because guess what? So far, we have a new all-time high in the total cryptocurrency market cap. What a momentous time for this market. That is a very big deal. But until we can continue to see price action above this $2.59 trillion level, we can only assume so far that we have a higher high forming. And so far with Bitcoin, we only have a lower high that has formed up until we can see continued price action to the upside. Now we're entering into the weekend, which is the most manipulated in the cryptocurrency market. So the question is, what do the whales have in store for us this weekend? We're going to talk about that today and the potential scenarios that Bitcoin could follow with our daily candle first and foremost. If we were to just kind of zoom in here, it sort of is an indecision candle slash bullish continuation body. And I would say that at this point for Bitcoin, it is clear that Bitcoin dominance wants to move up. And that we know is already set in stone with Bitcoin dominance now moving above the 200-day moving average. So it's currently following the path of the DXY, which is totally expected as they are correlated assets. It took Bitcoin a little bit longer to get above this 200-day moving average, but notice what happened to the DXY once it got above the 200-day moving average. It stayed above the 200-day moving average. And we know there are two different reasons that Bitcoin dominance could be moving up. Number one, we are entering into a new bull cycle for Bitcoin. So that would assume that the total cryptocurrency market cap breaks out to new all-times, which it has, and that Bitcoin will also follow to see itself re-enter price discovery. And at that point, we could potentially assume 75,000, 100,000, and so forth. But until we can see confirmation and continuation, we have to only assume so far we have a lower high that's formed with Bitcoin. And that's totally a garden variety market, retest of a previous high. And if we cannot see continuation, especially as we head into this weekend, October 18th is the day, then that could be a problem for Bitcoin. So I'm going to address the bulls and the bears on the Sniper channel as I always do. And it is also quite clear now that Ethereum is certainly showing weakness against Bitcoin, coming down and testing this market structural support for a second time. You guys know when you knock on a door multiple times, the likelihood of that door breaking becomes a lot higher. And now we tested even below the 200-day moving average today. So what is that doing to the Ethereum price? Well, Ethereum facing this market structural resistance that dates back from the all-time high and also when we retested 4,000 US dollars, and we've yet to break through to actually break the highs from the September 6th rally. And a lot of altcoins have yet to break that high from September 6th. Some have, the smaller market caps. And interestingly enough, one of the contributors in our Discord, Busby, posted this chart today about all of the liquidations when it comes to the perpetual contracts for Bitcoin right now, pretty much saying that shorts have pretty much all been liquidated at this point. And now there are a lot of long positions that could potentially be liquidated here if Bitcoin just moves down below 55,000 US dollars. So that is also some food for thought. And because of this, you guys know we've been taking day trades on altcoins. Today we took 11 day trades, Matic, Network, The Graph, a lot of them hitting targets. We're still seeing upside. And remember, we have the best Discord trade signals in the world. The link is in the description below, and the best Discord cryptocurrency community in the world. And the reason we're taking altcoin trades is with this chart that factors in altcoins outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum, we have been above the 20-week moving average, but you can see today we are starting now to move below the 20-week moving average. And so if this candle body closes fully below this 20-week moving average, that might change our stance on long positions for these altcoins. But until that happens, we have to still assume that we could find some breakouts with these altcoins. And this chart is also telling us that this could potentially be a leading indicator for what's going to happen to the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. As you can see, Ethereum to Bitcoin is the leading indicator for altcoins, already fully below the 20-week moving average. And so both of those charts showing weakness below the 20-week moving average is a puzzle piece heading into next week. that assumes that Bitcoin dominance wants to continue further up, being above the 20-week moving average. So we may be seeing the last breath here for altcoins, but the other scenario that could justify why Bitcoin dominance is moving up is that where's the liquidity for this rally for Bitcoin coming from? Potentially the altcoins. And if that's the case, at some point the gas will run out. And if we start to see downside, what's going to happen is altcoins will bleed even further than Bitcoin does, because of course Bitcoin has a way larger market cap. And that is what happened in 2018 when Bitcoin dominance moved up. So that would be a pattern of the past playing part. And a lot of that is going to have to do with whether or not Bitcoin can re-enter price discovery or not. Now, is there a potential Bitcoin can potentially even just form a higher high and then get the rug pulled? Well, I think we're going to find that out this weekend. But for now, we have to assume that we have a lower high. The total market cap has a higher high. And until that changes, that's the schematics we're looking at. Now, when we go into the revolving parts that matter, closing the week, the DXY did close again above 93.82. So this range between 93.82 and this 95.885 level is the worrying range for me when it comes to justifying higher prices in the cryptocurrency market. And that slowed the S&P 500 down, but we closed above the 50-day and 100-day moving average of the S&P 500, which is a good puzzle piece coming into the weekend. And on the weekly, we are back above this 20-week moving average with a bullish tail and a bullish body for the S&P 500. So that is a positive thing. And then we look at international markets like Japan closing itself back above the 20-week moving average as well, which is extremely positive. China's yet to get there, but it follows Japan in a lot of cases. And then the Euro 100 is now back above the 20-week moving average. So revolving parts actually don't look too bad coming into the weekend. Gold rejecting the 20-week moving average, I would say that's a good thing, being the fact that it shows that there's not too much fear with institutions closing the week. It did run up to the 20-week moving average, before we closed, but now it's back below it. And then we look at the chart that has been very interesting, which is this gold to Ethereum chart. And then I'll show you the gold to Bitcoin chart in just a second. But this gold to Ethereum chart, notice how it just broke this market support, indicating that we're going to see continuation to the downside, which means that obviously gold is becoming weaker and weaker against Ethereum, and then gold against Bitcoin also looking like it wants to continue further down. So if Bitcoin does re-enter price discovery, that would certainly justify this breaking the low that was formed on April 14th when Bitcoin topped out at 64,000. And we could see, obviously, Bitcoin act as a better storage value than gold into Q3 and Q4 of this year. So this was the chart we used to predict the top for Bitcoin when we started to come back above this 20-week moving average, forming this wedge, because that's what happened in 2018. And so it's very, very interesting what's happening in the market right now. I think that we're really at a make it or break it moment here for Bitcoin. And when there's an ETF coming out on October 18th and we're heading into the weekend, I can only assume there's going to be a lot of volatility. And so when it comes to altcoins, though, as long as Bitcoin's above this weekly open at 54,800, as I've been saying, I think there's still a lot of opportunities for altcoins. Until we get below this is when I'd be a lot more concerned. So expect to still see some trades here for altcoins. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. We go into the more micro time frames. Notice how we are still seeing continuation to the upside. We're really just facing this roadblock right now of 61,844. If we can start to see a 4-hour candle close fully above 61,844, I think that's going to be a very positive thing to assume that that price discovery scenario is on the table. But until we can get 4-hour candles closing above 61,844, we have to assume that the range that we're currently in is 58,353 and the $61,844 level. And then the next roadblock after 61,844 is going to be the previous all-time high at 64,855 for the Binance USDT pairing for Bitcoin. So very interesting weekend. Very nice to see Bitcoin at these higher levels. And once again, the higher Bitcoin goes, the downside scenario becomes a lot better because the floor will continue to rise. At any point in time, if we get below 58,353 now, that's going to be the biggest concern, because now we have only just the weekly open to hold us and then even further downside potentially. So Very nice range for Bitcoin to be in, 58,353, testing 61,844, with the next roadblock as a previous all-time high at 64,855. Let's see what this weekend has in store. For those tuned into the Cypress channel, you know we're going to be covering the market as always and the revolving parts to ensure it's a four-dimensional analysis. And I love seeing the participation in the Discord once again. Thank you, Busby, for posting that chart for the perpetual contract liquidations. And we'll continue to monitor the Discord chat. I love reading your guys' opinion and seeing what's happening in the chat as price action is moving, because it's always nice to see it in real time. And so for those not in the Discord, link is in the description below. Thank you all for tuning in to the Snipers channel today. I hope you enjoyed today's analysis. It's going to be a very interesting weekend coming up. And with that, until next time, Snipers out.